Whoa, this is gonna be so much fun. Wait, what's that? That's racist.
Viva Las Vegas. Viva, Viva Las Vegas.
Although I like all the map episodes, with maybe a little exception of Made in Manhattan, they all share one major flaw. The story for all of them is pretty much the same. Ponies are summoned by map, they travel to the place, locate the friendship problem, screw up their first attempt to fix it, fix the problem after second try. Usually that involves solution out of nowhere, something that happens to me quite often. The only exception before was Hooffields and McCall's, where there were multiple failed tries. Other than that, even Top Bolt have the same problem, which is why Viva Las Pegasus stands among them, because it's not falling in the same trap. And no, Fluttershy trying to reconcile the brothers doesn't count, because trying to fix the problem for me means the whole problem, not just part of it. And Flim and Flam were only part of the mission Applejack and Fluttershy was sent on. So technically they didn't fail, because when they located the whole problem, they've been gathering informations and evidences to find the source of the problem and, in the process, solution for it. Which is something I really like in this episode. However, the setup, not that much. Okay, it's not the city itself. It's actually nice to see a brand new place that has been only mentioned before or seen on Equestria map. I've never been in Las Vegas, but when looking at pictures of both places, I think Las Pegasus is quite accurate, considering that this place must be kids friendly. It's still a place of infant parties and plays. That's not the problem here. The problem is this guy.
Well, it is a little embarrassing. But the crowd seemed to like it.
Yeah, the moment I saw him, I knew something is not right with him. He's just too goody two shoes. Immediately, this guy reminded me of a classic book Tartuffe written by Molière. This story was all about the guy who pretends to be a religious person to gain the trust. In reality, he was a hypocritical religious devout, and his only goal was to gain benefits in cost of the head of the rich family, and, in the process, marry his daughter. Eventually his deception was revealed and he get arrested for past crimes. Not quite the same story, but it shares a lot of similarities. Gladmane, although he doesn't have any criminal past, he still resembles me of that guy Tartuffe from the book, with that whole good guy and a friendship counselor mask, pretending like he values friendship almost as much as Twilight, but in reality gaining benefits from the ponies arguing because of him. Even before AJ and Fluttershy gathered enough information to confirm that, I knew it was all he's doing. It was just too obvious. Though I have to give him a credit that he was kinda clever, yet it also went mostly into the fact that the ponies never talk about the argument with each other. That is believable, but it was also a big risk of him relying on that. Still, him being an antagonist was way too obvious. What actually surprised me was a role Flim and Flam played. Instead of being the said friendship problem and the episode focusing on Applejack having to overcome her grudge against them, they were actually a way to reveal Gladmane's deception. She had to give them a chance and help them, yet it wasn't the main conflict of this episode, and that's good. The fact that they were also shown in more positive light, in contrast to season 5 finale, but also they weren't straight up redeemed, is also something that I appreciate. In my opinion, this season done a really good job with reforming some characters that deserve that, but also keeping others as they were, as a minor antagonist. In their case, I think it's better if they stay that way. But when talking about Flim and Flam, you cannot forget about Applejack. It's believable for her to hold the strong grudge against them, considering the fact that they've tried to take over the farm and almost caused Granny Smith to kill herself. And I can actually relate to that. In my life, I've met people who done things for which I would have a hard time to trust them again. Not getting too much into details, I believe this episode have one of the best portrayal of AJ this season. Thanks to her story with brothers, she was more perceptive and pretty fast put two to two together, realizing who is responsible for all the friendship problems. Still, my love for character goes to Fluttershy. This episode is pretty much one of the main reasons why she's my second favorite this season. No more Would You Kindly and stuff like that. Her kindness is still a thing, but she showed again that she has overcome her introvert nature, at least majority of it. And just look at her in this scene. I just love that attitude of her. Brilliant. Writers, please keep that Fluttershy, or the fans will be very peeved if you reverse such a great character progression. I will be very peeved if you bring back pre-season 5 Fluttershy. Conclusions? In my opinion, it's the best map episode, even if including Top Bolt. Said episode is okay, but Viva as Pegasus wins the competition simply for the construction of the story, being less schematic than the other map quests. The episode done a great job with doing a proper investigation to find a real source of the problem and solution to fix it. What also helped are the characters, both protagonist and not quite antagonist. Applejack and her conflict was believable. Fluttershy shows how much her character had changed ever since It Ain't Easy Being Breezy's, and Flim Flam Brothers had a little more positive light on them, while still being a con ponies. The way they all tricked Gladman to reveal his secrets was brilliant. Although, was he really that full of himself that he didn't notice Fluttershy having her hoof on their intercom button? Which brings me to my main problem with the episode, and that is Gladman himself. Him being a villain was way too obvious, and he's another one of those antagonists that was defeated by overconfidence. Other than that, I don't think there is much more negative I can say about this episode, and this is the best map episode of all of it. However, as a season 6 episode, it's still pretty good one, but not one of my favorites. I'm Shopwit, and I have to say sorry for all the French-speaking viewers for my bad accent. Thanks for watching.